Good afternoon. I saw an idea that was shared by Rabbi Josh Flug that I think speaks to this moment. In Parashat Korach, which we'll read this Shabbat, the tent of Korach is actually referred to as a mishkan, as a tabernacle. When God tells Moshe to warn everyone to stay away from Korach, halumi saviv lemishkan Korach, stay away from the mishkan of Korach. And yet Moshe changes his language when he says, Moshe tells the congregation, Lemor, saying, Suruna mi'al ohalei hanashim, go away from the tents of these people, these wicked people who are rebelling against my leadership and so on and so forth. So there's an interesting change in language, whereas Kadosh Baruch Hu calls Korach's tent a mishkan, Moshe refuses to echo that language and refers to all of the homes of the people rebelling as ohalim, as tents only. So one possible explanation that Rabbi Flug shared, which kind of speaks to this moment, is that Korach, in his equalizing rhetoric, in which he says everyone is kulam kadoshim, every individual is equally holy, and therefore you, Moshe, and you, Aaron, have no right to have any special status or any special role upon yourselves. He also, not only did he equalize every person, he also equalized every place. My tent is like a mishkan. My tent is just like the mikdash, just like the sanctuary. It's no different. It's all the same. It's all equally holy. Not only is every person equally holy, no person has any special status, so too no place has any special status. And so God is like echoing that perspective, is pointing out that part and parcel of Korach's rebellion is not just an equalizing perspective towards people, but an equalizing perspective towards places. And Moshe doesn't go along with it. Moshe, when he's speaking to the people, he calls it a tent, because it's just a tent. And so Moshe doesn't echo that language, because he's trying to be much more descriptive of the reality, which is all these people, despite their pretense, despite their notions that fuel the rebellion, or the rhetoric that they use to further the rebellion, they're just living in tents. They actually don't, they're not surrounding a mishkan, they're not surrounding a mikdash, a sanctuary, a truly holy place. So of course, the ideas that Korach expressed, I think Korach is a cynical populist, but the ideas that he expressed have some facet of truth. There is an element of holiness that every human being shares, that every Jew shares. There's an access to God. There's a sacred service that can take place in every place and in every tent. But ultimately, Moshe's leadership and Aaron's leadership is affirmed by the Torah, and the Mishkan is a special place. And so I want to encourage everyone, as I've been doing for several weeks, to come back to our mikdash, okay? Come back to our shul, to our sacred place. Yes, you can talk to God anywhere. Yes, every place has access to holiness, but there is a special kedusha, a special sanctity that inheres in a building sanctified by so many generations of prayer and Torah scholarship and mitzvot. And I hope you'll make a plan to return to shul. Okay, decide. If you're not ready yet, think for yourself. What are the steps that would enable you to practically come back to shul? Maybe you're waiting till children's programming is a little bit more robust. We have some external partners that we have to accommodate before we can offer that as a shul, and maybe that's keeping some of you from coming. I know that's keeping many of you from coming back to shul. Maybe there's some metric that you can discuss with a physician, so that will allow you to feel safer coming back to group activities, whether it's a positivity rate or a COVID rate per 100,000 in the city of Chicago. These numbers are looking better this week, today, than they have in months and months and months, really since ever, I believe. But they're, please God, trending in the right direction. So maybe there's a number that we can reach that you'll feel better about coming back to shul. But try to make a plan. I think there is something special about Jewish life, mitzvah observance, connection to Torah, that is rooted in a sacred place, in a central location, a focal point. Not every home, not every ohel is a mishkan. Okay, there's just one, and our community has a mishkan. So I hope you'll come back there. Be that as it may, I'm actually leaving town for a 10-day family trip. So I'll be away on Monday, returning Thursday or Friday the following 10 days later. So have a great time while I'm away, and I look forward to hearing good things about how the community flourishes in my absence, and seeing you all upon my return. But I'm here over Shabbat, so I hope see many of you in shul over the course of Shabbat, Shabbos morning, Shabbos afternoon, Friday night. maybe in the streets of Lakeview as we stroll the playground, etc., etc. Hope to see all of you or many of you before I leave. All right, take care and have a Shabbat Shalom.